September of 1983. The shoe factory was gone, the steel mill was gone, and my count at Riverbend Elementary jumped from 280 trays to 400. My budget did not go up a nickel. $1.05 a tray. Not one child went home hungry because the woman who trained me knew 15 meals that cost almost nothing. Number 4 cost 38 cents a plate, and I watched a grown man cry over it. Number 7 is a pie with no fruit in it, and number 2 turned one chicken into 3 suppers. I am Mrs. Doris, 35 years behind a school lunch line in Scioto County, Ohio, and I have never thrown out a pot of anything. If you are stretching a check across 30 days, the math will work out. Hit subscribe, grab a tray. We are counting down from 15. Number 15, tomato gravy over biscuits, the Appalachian kind, not the Italian. Every Tuesday for 35 years, the whole building smelled like bacon grease and scorched flour by 6 in the morning before the first bus. Bacon grease, flour, a can of tomatoes, a splash of milk, salt, pepper. That was it. That was the whole shopping list. Nobody on my line ever called this poor man food. We called it Tuesday. 2 tablespoons of grease in a hot skillet, 2 of flour. Now listen here. Stir that flour until it smells like a paper sack. Pale flour tastes like paste. Then the tomatoes, then the milk, and stir from the bottom until it coats the spoon. The failure is impatience. Dump the milk in cold and fast, and it breaks. A can of tomatoes was 31 cents in 1983. That fed 5 for under $1. Today, a diner plate is $9. You can still do this for a quarter. Miss Ruby Tackett, who ran that kitchen before me, used to say, "Stir from the bottom, honey. Trouble lives on the bottom." She was not only talking about gravy. Number 14 is a sandwich the whole state of Ohio pretends it never ate. Number 14, fried bologna sandwich. Thick-cut bologna, Oscar Mayer if you were flush, whatever the commodity truck brought if you were not. Bunny bread, French's mustard. That was it. The trick, cut 4 slits from the edge toward the middle before it hits the skillet. Otherwise, it domes up like a hubcap and only the rim browns. Medium-high dry pan, 90 seconds aside. Here is how you ruin it, a cold pan. It steams and goes rubbery. Bologna was about $2 a pound in 1983, $1 on sale, 8 sandwiches to the pound. Today a pound runs $3, still under 40 cents a sandwich, less than 1 chicken nugget at the drive-thru. We served this on Fridays when the freezer ran low, and I never had one come back on a tray. The men at our parent suppers asked for it by name. There was no shame in it. There was a line. Number 13 is the soup I would make tonight if the power company cut me off tomorrow. Number 13, poor man's potato soup. Potatoes, an onion, water, milk, butter, salt, pepper. That was the whole list. Dice the potatoes small, ½ inch. Cook them in just enough water to cover, and do not pour that water off. That starch is your thickener. Add the milk at the end, off the boil, or it curdles. Then mash 1/3 of the potatoes against the side of the pot. No flour, no cream. 10 pounds of potatoes were $1.49 in 1983. A pot that fed 4 was about 60 cents, milk and all. Today the pot is about $3. A can of name-brand potato soup is $2 and feeds 1. It needs no teeth and no attention. A Marine told me once that on guard duty in the cold he kept warm thinking about his mother's potato soup. He was talking about being taken care of. Honest is better than fancy. Number 12 got called 5 different names in 5 different counties, and every one of them was right. Number 12, goulash, slumgullion, Johnny Marzetti, whatever your mother called it. A pound of ground beef, an onion, a can of tomatoes, a box of elbow macaroni, salt, pepper. That was it. Brown the beef with the onion. Do not drain all the fat. Leave a tablespoon. That is where the flavor is. Add the tomatoes and a cup of water and cook the dry macaroni right in the pot. It drinks up the tomato instead of water. Where people go wrong is boiling the macaroni separately and rinsing it. The flavor goes down the drain. Ground beef was $1.19 a pound in 1983. The whole pot for $6, about $2.50. Today, the pot is about $9. A boxed skillet dinner kit is $4, feeds 2, and is mostly salt. I made this in the 40-gallon kettle on Thursdays and ladled it into hotel pans and dropped them in the steam table with that hiss you never forget, government cheese grated over the top. By 1983, the commodity cheese was coming in 5-pound blocks, and we grated it over everything. 1 pound of meat, 6 children, 35 years. Do that arithmetic yourself. Number 11 is the one the Army made famous and every mother made better. Number 11, creamed chipped beef on toast. Dried beef from the little Armour jar, the one you washed out and drank juice from for the next 10 years. Butter, flour, milk, black pepper, toast. That was it. Rinse the beef under warm water for 30 seconds. It is cured in salt. Skip the rinse and the pan is too salty to eat. Make a white sauce. 2 tablespoons butter, 2 of flour, 2 cups milk. Cook until it coats the spoon, then tear the beef in. A jar of dried beef was 79 cents in 1978 and made enough for 4. Today it is $3 and still makes 4. The canned cream of something soup people use instead is a white sauce with a label on it, and you paid for the label. It was on my line once a month, and the little ones asked for it on their birthdays. Done in 12 minutes. Number 10 got its name from the White House, and the White House did not want it. Number 10, Hoover stew. Hot dogs, macaroni, 2 cans of tomatoes. At school it was one of the big number 10 cans, and a can of corn. That was it. Named for Herbert Hoover by people who were not happy with him. Slice the hot dogs into coins and brown them first in a dry pot until the edges curl. That is the whole difference between a stew and a can of sadness. Then tomatoes, corn with its liquid, the macaroni, and simmer 12 minutes. Hot dogs were about $1.50 a pound in 1983. 1 pound, 1 box, 2 cans, about $2.50 for 6 people. Today, the pot is about $6. A boxed macaroni and Frank's meal is $3.50 and feeds 2. We called it Frank and Macaroni on the menu board. 1 pot, soft, and it will hold on low for an hour if you fall asleep in the chair. Number 9 is a drink and a supper at the same time, and some of you just sat up straight. Number 9, cornbread and buttermilk. Leftover cornbread crumbled into a tall glass. Cold buttermilk poured over it. A spoon. That was it. The trick, the cornbread has to be a day old and the unsweetened kind, made with bacon grease in the skillet. Sweet cake cornbread turns to pudding. Real cornbread stays in pieces and goes soft at the edges. Buttermilk was 59 cents a half gallon in 1978. A glass of supper was a nickel. Today, maybe 40 cents. I will be straight with you, this one is not for company. Nobody ever set a table for it. It is a glass of supper for 40 cents on a night too hot to cook, and some nights that is the whole job. My father ate this standing at the counter every night the month his hours got cut. He did not say anything. He just ate it and went back out in the morning to look for work. That is what this food was for. Number 8 is the soup the United States Senate dining room has served nearly every day since 1903. Number 8, navy bean soup with a ham bone. A pound of dry navy beans, a ham bone or a ham hock, 1 onion, water, pepper. That was the whole list. Soak the beans overnight. Then the one thing, do not salt the beans until the last 20 minutes. Salt early and the skins stay tough an hour longer. Simmer with the bone 2 to 3 hours low until the meat falls off and the broth goes cloudy. Dry navy beans were 39 cents a pound in 1983. The ham bone was free from Sunday. A pot that fed 6 for 2 days cost 60 cents. Today the pot is under $5 for 12 bowls. A can of bean soup is $2.25 for 1 bowl. It reheats and it freezes. I kept a hock in the walk-in every week for 35 years. Now I am going to set the ladle down for a minute, because number 5 is the one I would fight for, and I want you to hear this first. Half of you are cooking for 1. I have been since 2019, when I lost Jean after 41 years. I will tell you what nobody warned me about. It was not the cost. It was the pot. I reached for the big one for a year before my hand learned better. Some of you do not need a stranger feeling sorry for you, and I am not going to. I am going to tell you what Miss Ruby told me my first week at that kettle when I scorched 40 gallons of tomato gravy by stirring from the top. We do not throw out food, honey. We throw out excuses. Every meal on this list was made by somebody with 1 good hand, 1 burner, and no help coming. That is not sad. That is a production sheet. We are halfway, and so far, the dearest thing I have asked you to buy is a pound of hot dogs. The dearest thing in the whole back half is 1 chicken, and I am going to get 3 suppers out of it. Stay with me. Number 7, water pie. I promised you a pie with no fruit in it. A pie crust, a cup and a half of water, 4 tablespoons flour, a cup of sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, 5 little pats of butter. That is the whole pie. Pour the water in the crust. Sprinkle the flour and sugar over the water. Do not stir. Drop the butter on top. Bake at 400 for 30 minutes, then 350 for 30 more. The failure is stirring. Stir it and you get sweet soup. Leave it alone and the flour, sugar, and butter settle into layers and come out a custard. Ruby's mother made this in 1933, the year the orchard froze. 8 cents, Ruby said, and the children asked for it over the peach. Today, about $1. A bakery pie is 14. I have made it every Thanksgiving since 1979 next to the pumpkin, and the water pie goes first, every time. Number 6 is the one the boys on my line asked for on Mondays. Number 6, hamburger gravy over mashed potatoes. A pound of ground beef, an onion, 3 tablespoons flour, 2½ cups milk or broth, salt, pepper. A pot of mashed potatoes. That was it. Brown the beef with the onion and leave the fat. You need it for the gravy. Sprinkle the flour over the meat and cook it 2 minutes, stirring, before any liquid goes in. Raw flour tastes like chalk. Cooked flour tastes like sundae. Then the milk, slowly, stirring from the bottom until it thickens. A pound of beef, 1983, $1.19. With potatoes, supper for 6 under $3. Today, about $10 for 6. A frozen Salisbury steak dinner is $4.50 and feeds 1. Soft, warm, no knife needed. The children called it the Good Monday. We stretched 1 pound into 6 plates and nobody ever felt stretched. Number 5, put the spoon down. This is the one. Number 5, fried potatoes and onions with eggs. Potatoes, an onion, bacon grease, salt, pepper, and eggs at the end. That was the whole list, and it is the one I would fight for, because it is the one you will actually make on a Tuesday when you are too tired to care. Slice the potatoes 1/4 inch. Now listen here. Hot skillet, grease, spread them out, lid on, and do not touch them for 8 minutes. Do not peek. The lid steams them soft and the bottom goes crisp. Flip once, add the onion, 6 minutes, lid off. Then push 4 wells in the potatoes with the spoon, crack an egg in each, lid back on, 3 minutes. The failure is stirring. Stirring makes mush. Patience makes supper. Potatoes, 1983, about 20 cents a pound. 2 eggs, 14 cents. Supper for 2, about 50 cents. Today, about $2. A breakfast skillet at a chain restaurant is $12. When I come home tired, this is what I make. When there were 4 of us, 2 eggs still did it because the potatoes did the work. That is the whole secret of poor man cooking. Something cheap does the work and something dear does the flavor. Number 4. I promised you 38 cents a plate and a grown man crying. Here it is. Number 4. The poor man's meal. Potatoes, onions, hot dogs, a little grease, salt, pepper. That was it. Some of you know this from a lady named Clara who cooked it on the internet in her 90s. Dice the potatoes, fry them in the grease with a lid on until nearly done, 12 minutes. Then the onion, then the hot dogs sliced into coins until the potatoes crisp. The move. The hot dogs go in last, so their fat fries into the potatoes. The hot dog is not the meat in this dish. The hot dog is the seasoning. Fall of 1983, 38 cents a plate. We served it at the parents' supper that October for the families who had been out of work since the mill shut. And a man about my father's age sat with his 2 boys and ate it without a word. And when he put his tray away, his eyes were red, and he said, "My mother made this." That was enough. Today, it is about $1.20 a plate. It is still the meal that says, we are going to be all right. Number 3 is a chocolate cake with no eggs, no milk, and no butter, and it is better than the one with all 3. Number 3, Wacky cake, depression cake. 1.5 cups flour, a cup of sugar, 3 tablespoons cocoa, a teaspoon baking soda, a half teaspoon salt, then a cup of water, a 1/3 cup of oil, a tablespoon of vinegar, a teaspoon of vanilla. Mix the dry right in the pan. Make 3 holes, vinegar in one, vanilla in one, oil in the third. Pour the water over all of it, stir, bake at 350 for 30 minutes. The trick is the vinegar and the soda. That is your rise, what the eggs would have done. Here is how you ruin it, over-mixing. Stir until you cannot see flour, then stop. In 1983, 4 sheet pans of this fed 400 children for under $10. Today, 1 cake at home is about $2. A bakery sheet cake is $35. No eggs, which matters every time eggs jump, and they always jump again. We made this for every birthday on my line. We did not waste a thing, and we did not skip a birthday. Number 2 is the great stretch. 1 chicken, 3 suppers, 6 people. Number 2, chicken and dumplings the way it was meant to be. 1 whole chicken, water, an onion, salt, pepper, flour, baking powder, milk. That was it. Night 1, simmer the whole bird with the onion, 2 hours, until it falls apart. Pick the meat off. Half goes back in the broth. The dumplings. 2 cups flour, a tablespoon baking powder, a teaspoon salt, 3/4 cup milk. Drop spoonfuls on the simmering broth, lid on, 15 minutes, and listen here, do not lift the lid. The steam cooks them. Lift it and they sink. That is the failure. Night 2, the other half of the meat makes chicken and rice. The carcass makes a second pot of broth for number 13 or number 8. 1 chicken, 3 suppers. That is how a family of 6 ate meat on a shoe factory wage. A whole chicken was 69 cents a pound in 1983. 3 suppers for $6, under $4. Today, a bird is about $8. 3 suppers for under $12. Miss Ruby made this for the faculty on the last day of school, and nobody ever asked how much it cost. Nobody could tell. Before the last one, let me take my hairnet off for a second. Every meal tonight comes out of a plain sack. Beans, flour, potatoes, meal. No logo on any of them because there is no money in a 50-pound sack worth advertising. Now take down that $4 skillet dinner box and read it. Inside is a cup of macaroni and an envelope of salt. I priced a tray every morning for 35 years, and here is the truth of it. The food was never the dear part. The minutes were. They are selling you your own tired evening back. That is not your doing. Nobody handed you a production sheet. I had one. And the word poor, it is in the title because that is what people type in the search box. It was never in my kitchen. On my line, it was Wednesday or Tuesday or the Good Monday. I never looked at the free and reduced list to decide who got the big ladle. A tray is a tray. You are worth a pot on the stove, and you always were. Number 1, soup beans and cornbread. A pound of dry pinto beans, a piece of salt pork or a ham hock, water, an onion, pepper. Cornbread on the side. That was it. That was the whole shopping list. Soak the beans, simmer them low with the pork and the onion, 3 hours, until the broth goes thick and brown. That broth is the whole meal. And the same trick I showed you with the potatoes at number 13. Mash a ladle of beans against the side of the pot and stir it back in. That makes the broth stand up on the spoon. Pour it over hot cornbread with raw onion on the side. Pinto beans were about 40 cents a pound in 1983. Supper for $6, 2 nights running for $1.50. Today, the whole pot with the cornbread is under $6 for 12 bowls. 50 cents a bowl that holds a working man until breakfast. On my line every Wednesday for 35 years. By second period, the whole school smelled like beans and onions. The milk crates came rattling in from the dock, and the teachers started drifting down early. The day Ruby retired, in 1991, she handed me her wooden paddle and said, "Stir from the bottom, honey. That is all there is to it." I still have the paddle. I used it last Wednesday. Nobody on my line was poor when that pot was on. Nobody in your kitchen is either. Homework, and I grade easy. Make one of these this week. Last week, I fed myself off this list for $11.40. Then tell me, water pie or soup beans? And what did your mother call the supper that got you through the lean week? And what county? I read them with my coffee. The winner gets the next video. Subscribe. Next week, one $10 chicken becomes 4 suppers, receipts and all. 400 kids a day, and not one of them went hungry. Neither will you.